And I'm curious, practically speaking, you've probably had this before in your practice of criminal law, when you've got co-defendants and then one pleads out, and then you have the one who wants to go to trial, and the one who pleaded out might be coming in as a witness to point the finger at your client. How do you handle that? How do you prepare to handle that scenario, and what might you do in this case with Sherra Wright?
Well, if she testifies, I mean, there's a certain blueprint to use in cases like this. Obviously, you typically want to get evidence from the prosecution of any prior inconsistent statements they made. A lot of times what prosecutors will give you in the course of the discovery is they'll give you the polished, finished statement that the co-defendant may have signed during an interview, but they don't give you the notes the officers took over about a 4 or 5 or 6 hour period during the interview, where the witness gave varying statements throughout the interview, giving conflicting details until they finally gave the correct story. Because that way you can kind of find evidence of lies, different statements, inconsistent statements to attack their credibility and attack their honesty. Of course, the big thing too is what they get from the testimony. Smart prosecutors will have a plea agreement that's very, very vague, where the defendant gets really nothing up front. He understands, or she understands, that anything she gets is based on her or his or her truthful testimony or cooperation. And if you don't have a plea agreement that has all those things in place, you attack the fact that, the person got a guarantee of some sort, either A, charges being dismissed, or B, a reduced sentence. You also want to look at whether or not the agreement has any consequences for their failure to testify truthfully, such as in some cases you have a prosecutor will say, well, listen, if they testify, and they lie, then the entire agreement is off, and we can use evidence against you. You look at things like that prosecutors don't put in the agreement to show the defendant or the witness has every incentive to be dishonest.
Sure.
And their reward is not being based on their honesty, but based on how much testimony they give against the defendant. So those are some of the things that I look at, of course.